called the claim baseless as the case heads to trial in April. Now for this hour, we start with the United Kingdom's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made it clear that the future of Greenland is a matter only for the Greenlanders, and Denmark, stressing that Greenland is an integral part of the Kingdom of Denmark. He has also reiterated the importance of Arctic security, emphasizing that it's a shared concern for NATO and that allies need to work together to counter Russian threats across the Arctic. Further, he has criticized the idea of applying tariffs on Greenland's allies, vowing that he will address this issue with the U.S. administration. Moving to the United States, White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller, has supported U.S. President Donald Trump's views on Greenland. According to Miller, Greenland is crucial for America's national security, with the polar regions emerging as a new frontier for international competition, particularly in terms of resources and control of navigation rules. Let's listen in.
Greenland is essential for America's national security. The new domain of international competition is going to be polar competition. That is where more and more resources are being spent by our nation's adversaries and rivals, is the ability to control movement, navigation, lanes of travel in the polar and Arctic regions.
Moreover, Miller has also said that the U.S. should control Greenland, insisting that Denmark simply cannot defend the semi-autonomous territory. Let's again listen to his comments.
With respect to Denmark, Denmark is a tiny country with a tiny economy and a tiny military. They cannot defend Greenland. They cannot control the territory of Greenland. Under every understanding of law that has existed about territorial control for 500 years, to control a territory, you have to be able to defend a territory, improve a territory, inhabit a territory. Denmark has failed on every single one of these tests.
Now for this, we welcome Mr. Erik Lemko. He's a senior journalist, joins us live from Georgia. Thank you very much, Mr. Lemko, for joining us. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, as tensions escalate and Trump is very insisting on eyeing Greenland and acquiring Greenland, what more can you tell us and share with us on this news?
Well, as we know, President Trump is pretty adamant about obtaining Greenland in some sort of form of way. He has mentioned military intervention. He has mentioned purchasing Greenland. He has mentioned brokering a deal to obtain Greenland. I'm not sure which way it is going to be the most formidable way. I don't believe we will go in and take it militarily. I think that would be a diplomatic disaster to do it that way. However, I do think that President Trump uses that the kind of the mantra that he emits across the world, that he will do anything to his advantage to kind of leverage Europe and especially Denmark to take his calls a little more seriously. So I do think that there's an advantage there for President Trump. Do I think that Denmark is going to come off of Greenland that easily? No, I do not. I think they're going to hold on to it for as long as they can. Mr. Miller did make some very, very good points that Denmark is basically doing nothing with that whole land mass. That land mass is exponential to the defense of not only the United States, but to Europe as well. With Russia having an already existent military presence in the Arctic, we need something up there to counter that and to start to build a defense system up there. And I think that with Europe not really investing the funds to do it, with Denmark not having the ability to fund that, I do think that they should allow the United States to obtain that land mass and turn it into a strategic strong point. it would be the same as having like a global high ground to kind of see down on what specifically Russia is doing.
Right. And do you think, so some of our American guests have suggested that instead of eyeing Greenland and acquiring another mass territory, they should increase funding and protect Alaska more. What's your take on that?
I mean, I definitely think that Alaska is a focal point. Do I think the United States has the ability to do both? Yes, we do. Alaska has always been a very a strategic spot for the United States. With it, in the wintertime, you could pretty much walk across the ocean in from Russia to Alaska. So that's how close we are to a danger zone, where if Russia really wanted to cause some damage, that would be a very ideal entry point for them. Have they done it? I mean, we do see submarine action. We see bomber action. China and Russia do joint operations up in that region a lot. So there's a lot of military action going on in that area. So it is something that I think the United States, we've already been paying close attention to. We have several Air Force bases there already. So do I think we need to do a whole lot more to Alaska? I mean, there's always room for improvement, but I think we have a lot of military installations there already that we can defend our homeland.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Lemko, for staying with us and sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we stay on this topic. Now, protests in Greenland have gathered on Saturday to express opposition to U.S. President Donald Trump's demands that the Arctic island be ceded to the U.S. Led by Prime Minister Hans Fredrik Nielsen, hundreds of demonstrators marched in the capital of Nuuk, carrying flags and banners heading towards the U.S. consulate. Let's now hear from the protesters in Greenland.
Of course, we are not for sale. We are a free people. We have always been a free people. We have never had wars. We have togetherness in our mindset. We take care of each other. And that's something actually a lot of other countries in the world could learn from us, that we take care of each other and protect each other. So that's why we're here.
We have always welcomed collaboration with the outside world and with the US, and now we are talking about being occupied or bought. It is unacceptable, and it affects the people of Greenland. As you can see today, it has a lot of resonance with them. They want to show their disgust with this.
Meanwhile, in Denmark, similar protests were held. Organizers estimated that over 20,000 people took part in the protest, a crowd that is equivalent to the entire population of Nuuk. Police did not provide an official count, but other demonstrations also took place across Denmark. Let's now listen into what the protesters have shared.
It's a very bad feeling. You have one guy who wants to take over our country. It's our country. It's a place where we were raised and born. People lived in Greenland. Right now, children, they don't sleep at nights. People don't sleep at nights. Our family, our friends, everybody is anxious in Greenland right now. We are not, as one of the politicians says, we are not numbers. We are people. And we are a part of NATO. We are a part of Denmark. The Kingdom of Denmark, has always supported the United States when they have been in problem. And right now, they are saying thank you to us in this way.
It's very important that we stay together and show that Greenland is not for sale, and we will not like to be and we can all won't be annexed by USA. So we stand together, and we are really happy and such that we have so much support from all of the places in the world, also here in Copenhagen.
Now we welcome back Mr. Erik Lemko. He's a senior journalist, joins us live from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you very much, Mr. Lemko, for staying with us. Now, as you rightfully mentioned in our earlier discussion, that in US, people don't think that Trump will actually physically send military, etc., to acquire Greenland. However, it seems like a lot of people in Greenland and also Denmark, they don't think so. Do you think they're taking it so serious, not because it's maybe not because President Trump said it, but because President Trump said it right after doing what he did in Venezuela regarding Nicolas Maduro?
Yeah, so Trump is very strategic. Trump is an excellent chess player on the global stage. So when President Trump says things like this in the manner that he says it and with the timing when he says it, it does add up to a strategy. And I think it's well noted that he strategically brought that up at that specific time to say, hey, I've already done this. Now we're looking to do this. And so Greenland is a focal point. I think it's a top focal point. He talked about Greenland in his first term. So this is something that I believe that President Trump does want to get done. What I think, paying attention to Trump's patterns of how he kind of governs the United States is, I see a deal. He's got a high price right now. A high negotiation tactic. I do think that he will settle for something less, which could be, getting together with Denmark and developing a joint coalition military installation that NATO and the United States can use at will to defend against foreign enemies. So I think that's where the more ballpark of what we're looking at, a compromise. I do think Greenland is going to be in play. It's just going to matter of how that works out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lemko, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion.